Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I felt like this episode is important. I felt like it was an episode that I should have recorded a long time ago. And it's something that I did kind of talk on maybe. When did I last talk on this? I feel like it wasn't too long ago when I talked on it. But, anyways, maybe I did. I feel like I might have tried to talk on it, but I didn't fully go through with it. I don't know. I'll be recording a lot of different stuff, so forgive me if I don't be remembering episodes or videos and stuff. But anyways, no, I wanted to talk on like drug-related problems in the United States, and it probably affects a lot of different people all across the world. I can't speak on other countries because I don't know how those other countries are when it comes to like drug related problems, but just more so people with drug addictions, and then just how many drugs that be getting like passed around all over the stuff. Like, I never would have thought that and it's just something I never really like heard of up until like just recently, just hearing so many people dying and ODing off of it. But fentanyl, it's like you would think that in this day and age, but I mean, like, you just see so many other different crazy things happening, but you just didn't think like fentanyl would be the new like crack cocaine. Because that's something that's like, my parents, like when we be sitting down watching the news, that's something that they talk on, like back in the 80s, like when the like crack had like just overall made its way to the streets. Like it was insane. Like it happened so fast. Like, people didn't really have time to like brace themselves for the impact that it was going to have on people and stuff. And then you just even hear about it today, and it's like, yeah, you hear where people crack jokes and they make light of like, that situation where they might be calling a friend or somebody a crackhead. But I'm like, fam, I don't know. Like the thing is that you just see it happen, excuse me, happen so often. It's like eventually it does put you in a mindset like this does need to stop. Like it shouldn't be this bad with all the drugs out on the street and stuff. Like I know people are gonna smoke their weed. You can't really stop people from smoking weed and stuff. And I know it's like it can't kill nobody. Well, I think there is like that synthetic weed. It can actually, I think it can kill somebody if they smoke too much of it, because it's, it's not like, I don't know, like I can't say that it's not grown. I don't know how synthetic weed, like how it comes about. Like I don't know how it's created. I don't know if it's like grown or if they make it in a lab. But it's like regardless. Just hearing people having issues with that, seeing just all different types of like issues with drugs. And it's like, man, it's crazy that there's not enough resources to help these people with these drug addictions. Oh, there's a truck outside. I was like, what is this noise I'm hearing? But anyways, no, like, cause I live in Washington State, and the big city out here is Seattle, for those that did not know. And in Seattle, like, if you're watching TV shows like Wheel of Fortune or Price is Right, or you might see somebody post a video on YouTube or social media showing the sunny side of Seattle. But in reality, like I feel like if you're a tourist, whatever crazy stuff that you might see, like you might have seen it back home. But if not, like, and you're like brand new to the environment, yeah, you're gonna see some things when you actually come out here and stuff. Yeah, the tourist spots, it might not really be all that affected, but when you go in like to some like deep areas of Seattle, yeah, you're gonna see the homelessness. It's like that. I feel like for the homelessness from when I was a kid all the way up until now, like back when I was a kid, yeah, like, every other street corner, you might see a homeless person or somebody high off drugs. Like, you might see that in things. Now, it just seems like it's everywhere. It ain't on some stuff where it's all like, oh, okay, like, you gotta go some blocks down the road, maybe even a mile down the road, then you might see the next, like, homeless person or somebody high off drugs and things. But, no, it's like now it's just you see it almost everywhere. Like I was just out shopping yesterday and I seen it was two people. I don't know what it was that they were smoking, but it had to have been strong. The way that they were acting, it didn't look like weed. It just did, like, they didn't look like they were smoking weed and stuff. So maybe they were, and it was just some strong weed, but it just the way that they were acting, it seemed like they were smoking something a little bit stronger than weed. And you'll see that, like, you'll see that stuff happen. You'll either see before, during, or after the fact of somebody smoking whatever it is and stuff. And then I'm like just watching the news, and it was like, I can't remember the exact number. They said how many people then overdosed and died off of fentanyl, but it's like it's a lot, you know. And it's crazy just on how easy it is that somebody can just go out there and get it. Like, that was something that I remember hearing on the news, and I was like, I just thought that was insane. But you'll have it where drug dealers will pretend to be homeless, and they have these tents up and they're selling drugs right out the tent. So I hear stuff like that, and I'm like, man, you know, it's really messed up to like the homeless person that is trying to, you know, just survive out there, and they're trying to get them something to eat or get something to drink, just, you know, overall, yeah, like trying to survive. And a person can't tell the difference between them and somebody that, you know, like has got like a drug problem and stuff. I mean, overall, though, there should just be, and that's something that I've been thinking of for years. And I'm like, it's crazy how I'm so forgetful with stuff, but this is the one thing that I cannot forget. And I'm like, I am making sure of it, that is something that I do. But I would like to buy out either property or a hotel, whichever, you know, but overall turn it into a treatment center. But rather than just getting a person clean and sending them on their way, but it's like, I want to get a person clean and give them a reason to stay clean, whether it's helping them find a career choice, whether it's helping them with school, whether it's helping them just overall finding a job, and just overall, like, you know, getting to that point where they're able to survive. But it just clear their mind from that addiction, you know, rather than just being like, okay, like, get them to stop and then just send them on their way. But it's like, and I feel like that's because there is a treatment center out here in Washington, and I believe, like, because I don't know how that works, like, because of my sister, I think she either works near it, for it, or around it. I can't remember exactly how it went, but I just know that my sister, she was telling me that there is this treatment center out in, I don't know if it's in Seattle. I don't think it's in Seattle. It might be somewhere outside of Seattle. But regardless, there is a treatment center where it's like they pretty much, based off of what my sister said, they don't really be helping people. And that's why I'm like, you know, and it's stuff like that where I'm like, okay, so you just pretty much just like, what are you doing? Like, you just look at the person and be like, hey, stop doing drugs. It's bad for you. It's going to kill you. And then you just send them on their way. I'm like, nah, man, like, you really got to get a person going. You really got to give a person a reason to be like, like, not you telling them, but them telling themselves, where it's like, I gotta stop doing this. Like, I gotta, like, you know, I can't continue on doing this anymore, because I know it ain't good for me. I know it ain't good for those around me. Like, I know people don't want to see me in this current state, because it's like, man, you know, it's like when you know of somebody going through a situation like that, it's tough. It's really tough, because it's like, you really don't know whether or not, or like, you're not gonna know what's gonna happen to that person, you know. It's like, I'm trying to, like, you know, lighten up the situation, but it's like, no, you really don't know what's gonna happen to that person. And that's one thing where it's all like, there's people that I knew where they were living that lifestyle, where they had a really bad drug problem, and they're not here with us, and that eats at me, because I'm like, fam, like, I really wish I could have helped them. I really wish that I could have been in a position to where I could have helped them out. And it's like, man, you know, it's just messed up that it's like, it's people like them, good people on top of that. People that it's like you share memories with, people that you can share laughs with. Like, you, like, this is somebody that is going to be in your memory forever. You know, and even if it's somebody that's not, like, there's people that I even seen on the streets where I didn't even know them like that. But it's like, you can see that they were going through some stuff, and whether they were on drugs or not, but it's like, you can see that they were going through some stuff, and that's stuff that's going to stick with me. You know, like, I'll never forget. And I was like, man, I would like to know if that mom is okay. But I just remember that there is this homeless woman with her 2 kids, and like, fam, I'm telling you, like, I really wish I could have just, like, you know, just known if they were all right. But it was when I worked in Seattle, and it was, yeah, like, you know, I'm just gonna say this because I'm like, it's just something where I'm like, I guess if there is somebody from the Seattle area that remembers that, it was like back in like either 2016 or 2017. But I remember the last time I think I remember seeing her, she was at that Target by Pike Place Market. And I'm saying this because I'm like, if somebody like knows of this woman or remembers this woman, or if they were in Seattle themselves during that time frame and they're like, oh, I remember a woman with 2 young kids and she was homeless and stuff, I'm like, I would just like to know if she's okay. You know, like, because I feel like that would just overall make me feel better about her situation and stuff, and that she didn't go down a wrong path, because I imagine there's probably a lot of people out there that became homeless and they was like, okay, well, I'm just overall going to try to figure out survive. And then it's like they done gotten mixed into drugs, and now it's like you're using, instead of using your money to get you something to eat or get, you know, just like better your life, it's like you're using it for drugs. And it's just, you know, it's messed up. It's just really messed up to think like there's people living like that, and that there's just, it's like I feel like that there is like ways of like creating these resources to help them and stuff. And I know people are gonna probably be all like, well, what if they don't want the help and things? I'm like, hey, you know, if they don't want the help, that's on them. But I'm pretty sure there is a lot of people out there where it's all like they do want that help, and there should be more resources and ways to help them. And I know that there's probably gonna be people trying to argue with that. I'm like, there ain't no argument for it. There ain't no argument for a person like, you know, where they got a drug addiction. A person that got a drug addiction, I'm pretty sure deep in their mind they wish that they didn't have that addiction. They wish, but it's like, it's, you know, I think people need to understand like what an addiction is before you just start passing judgment. And I feel like, if I'm not saying like deal with a drug addiction yourself, but I'm pretty sure that there are addictions in this world where you may not look at it as an addiction, but other people are going to look at it as an addiction, where it's all like, you know, you're playing video games for an example, and I know people will probably be all like, oh, well, that's not really an addiction. But there's people out there where they've claimed they got a video game addiction. They be putting off you know, important things in their lives, or whether it be a friend or a family member's life, so they can get one more game in Fortnite, or one more game in Warzone, or one more game in Apex, or whatever. But it's like, I feel like my thing is this: when you're putting off important things in your life or in another person's life so you can, whatever it is that you got an addiction to, that's an addiction, you know. And that's something where it's like, I would say for me, I can't compare like a content creating addiction to a drug addiction, but I do feel like that I do have a content creating addiction, you know. But it's like, I don't know, like and it's funny because it's like, I don't look at it as an addiction. I just look at it as a way for me to survive. But it's like, some people are gonna probably look at it as all like, nah, fam, you got an addiction where you're putting off hanging out with friends and family just so you can record and stream. Or, you know, it's all like, there's just all these important things going on in the world, but you'd rather just record and stream and do all this other stuff. So yeah, it's all like, I have been trying to like manage it, where it's like, you know, I've been hanging out with friends more. Like, there was one friend where I almost lost them as a friend because I felt like my content creating addiction was just kind of getting a little bit too out of hand. But no, I just remember that I didn't never really came out and told them, because I didn't really know how to like tell them and stuff. You know, I did like, I don't, like it's just with your own personal addictions, you ain't gonna look at it as an addiction. I ain't really look at content creating like, you know, just sit down nonstop thinking of the next YouTube, Twitch stream, podcast episode, TikTok, like thinking of the next idea that I can put into that stuff. I never really looked at it as an addiction. And then, you know, but it's like, but getting back to the friend story, but and I told this story before, but it's like, I can now look at it and be like, yeah, like I had a little bit of a problem, but I'm putting off, because I'm thinking to myself, like, I ain't gonna be able to stream, I'm not gonna be able to record, that's time being taken away from me. I told this friend, I'm all like, you know, I don't want no distractions, and I felt like that was pretty messed up, and that's something that I feel like that stuck with that friend. And no, I just remember there was a day where they was all like, yeah, they was like, I don't, you know, want to be friends with you anymore. We have since then reconnected and stuff, and I have been like, you know, setting time aside to being like, okay, I am gonna hang out with you. I ain't gonna, you know, let no other stuff, like, I actually want to hang out with them and things. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's all like, you know, you just gotta, like, if it's like an addiction that can take you out of this world, then it's like, you just gotta overall stop with it. Because I know there's people out there with like drinking addictions. You know, I ain't heard where it was my friend's my uncle's friend, where they had a really bad drinking problem and they ended up dying behind it and stuff. I ain't gonna get into details on how they you know, left this world, but it's like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, and I'm pretty sure they're looking, you know, back thinking like, dang, it shouldn't have been that bad, you know. It's like them last few seconds of life where it's all like, dang, it shouldn't have been like this, you know. So that's one of those things where I'm all like, you know, if you know somebody with an addiction, help them, you know. It's all like, talk with them, whatever the situation is. But it's like, just overall let them know, like, hey, you ain't alone. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, and that's just talking to somebody with an addiction. You shouldn't feel bad for, like, having that, because it's like, really, at the end of the day, it's all like, addictions don't really have, like, no name tied to it. Like, you really don't know who next will have an addiction to whatever and stuff. So it's like, you shouldn't even feel bad, but it's like, it is someday, it's like, you should have that, like, that thought that it's all like, okay, like, I gotta clean myself up, I gotta get better, I gotta, do better in things, for, at least, if not for me, but for those around me and stuff, because I know a lot of people might not be thinking about themselves in situations like that, but it's like, think about others where it's like, they look up one day and they're planning funeral arrangements. That's something where it's all like, a person, shouldn't have to, like, deal with that and things. But, there are people in this world where they do have to deal with that. And it sucks, it sucks for everybody and things. So, yeah, it's just something where I'm all like, just get, like, better in life and things. But hopefully one day, I know it's all like, I can't wait for the day where I'm like, I am able to, help out people on my own and things. But anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode, and peace.